There's a new villain in town. No, it's not me. He's tenacious. He's prolific. He's microscopic. And he might just be making you fat. Well, I say he, but there are like technically 10 to 100 trillion he's living inside you right now. Gut bacteria. They've been getting a lot of attention lately because they are the new and improved scapegoat for all of your problems. Please don't misunderstand me, because gut bacteria are absolutely integral at almost every level of your functioning. But stuff that's actually good for you, like, never makes it to the mainstream. So what the hell's going on? Well, I'll tell you in just a minute. But before we detail why mainstream suggestions about probiotics are ineffective, useless, and potentially dangerous, let's discuss why having healthy levels of specific types of gut bacteria in your gut help you lose weight or maintain a healthy weight. According to science, unhealthy gut bacteria can make you fat. They can increase the frequency and intensity of cravings. They can actually affect what types of food you crave. They increase fat deposition. They cause systemic inflammation, and they produce endotoxins, which are capable of increasing appetite and fat storage via hormonal pathways. That basically means they affect leptin, ghrelin, and insulin. Although I think my all-time favorite study on probiotics and the effect they have on our behavior is this one study where they had anxiety-prone, germ-free mice, and then they fed those mice the shit of normal mice, and then they noticed that the anxiety-prone mice were much more calm and outgoing. Take-home message: eat the shit of people you want to be like. I think Kylie Jenner might have a new income stream. And unfortunately, it's not hard to tip the scales in favor of these potentially pathogenic or potentially weight gain causing bacteria. Especially when you consider that the average American has taken 10 to 20 rounds of microbiome massacring antibiotics by the time they're 18 years old. That's like pretty much the same amount of antibiotics that we feed to livestock to make them gain weight and get fat as fast as possible. Coincidence? We are loaded with antibiotics as kids and teens, at least I know I was, and yet I never heard about the necessity of balancing your gut microbiome until my mom almost died of a pathogenic bacteria infection. Between the ages of 11 and 13, my mom was super sick. She was having awful symptoms like chronic diarrhea, a lot of joint pain, migraines, dangerously heavy periods, which the doctors fixed by doing an emergency hysterectomy, and a bunch of other debilitating symptoms. And she kept going to the doctor and going back to the doctor and saying, "Doctor, there's something not right," and they, ran all their tests and kept telling her, "There's nothing wrong, it's all in your head." So finally a naturopath actually diagnosed her as having this bacterial infection and then put her on probiotics, as well as a bunch of other supplements, and it did actually turn her health around. Now, unfortunately in that situation, my mom nor the rest of the family was instructed on how to eat a diet that promotes a healthy microbiome in the first place. Which brings us to the primary factor that influences our microbiome health. It's what we feed them. And since they live in us, that's the same as what we feed ourselves. Beneficial bacteria love fiber. They love oligosaccharides. They love polyphenols. Basically, the stuff found in whole, high-carb plant foods. So for the past 15 years, tons of studies have been coming out about the beneficial effects of probiotics. We're finding that they play a role in the development of heart disease, of metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes, chronic inflammation, hormone imbalances, thyroid underfunction, and so much more. And all of these factors can definitely influence weight gain or lack of weight loss. So I could make a video that's several days long that would detail all of these avenues where gut bacteria interacts with other systems of our bodies to create potential weight gain. However, Jesus help me, I do not have that kind of stamina. And I feel like it would be kind of like a moot point and pretty reductionist of me. It's like trying to take care of an actual chicken and spending all of your time arguing about what came first, a chicken or an egg. What came first, the obesity or the imbalanced microbiome? Did the SAD diet make you fat, or did it just feed the wrong bugs and they made you fat? Did the caloric restriction crash your metabolism and cause mega cravings, or did it actually starve your gut bacteria and then they gave you mega cravings and crashed your metabolism along the way too? What's the cause and what's the effect? The microbiome or the diet. And the fact is they're just too intertwined to even be able to dissect that. Which is a problem, because as a culture we're so prone to looking for one problem so that we can find one solution. But the health of your gut, just like the health of your hormonal system, is completely interdependent on everything else that is in, on, near, or around you, your body, or your mind. And that means that trying to deduce specifics is futile at best, an extremely expensive circle jerk at worst. Googling that term is a mistake. Don't do it. Because there are studies showing that your microbiome is dependent on your hormonal health, and your hormonal health is dependent on your microbiome. But very, 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 very few people acknowledge the obvious. Everything is dependent on everything else. And there are no specific inputs that are going to fix these issues. Almost every study on probiotics and the microbiome that I read said more information is needed to develop effective treatments to manipulate the microbiome through antibiotics, prebiotics, and probiotics. That means we need more information and to buy more time so that we can invent drug therapies that we can sell you. But like so many other health problems, like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune diseases, solutions already exist. Those solutions are fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. A whole food, high carb, plant-based diet renders most medications unnecessary. And since a whole food, plant-based diet comes with only positive side effects, it highlights the glaring contrast when you compare these dangerous, harmful drugs to innocent diet. And this is where the big, dangerous problem is. The real solution is ignored. Expensive drug or other types of therapies are pushed. People don't actually feel better or improve their health in a real way. And they either die or they become apathetic about proactive behaviors. Because what they've been told by doctors, the people that are supposed to be taking care of their health, doesn't work. So why bother? While researching probiotics and the microbiome, I read several books, and this was one of them. You might recognize it from my recommended reading video earlier this year. It is a great book, but this guy is a professional scientist. He's intelligent, he's reasonable, he's logical. And in this book, he spends quite a bit of time explaining how stable our microbiome is, how difficult it is to effect significant change in favor of beneficial bacteria. Except for in one tiny sentence where he talks about a study, which he summarizes by saying, changing the diet to exclusively plant origin or animal source led to extensive changes, but these lasted only as long as the person was consuming the special diet. Please elaborate, sir. Dr. Greger reviewed the same study, so I'm kind of in the know about what this study was about and the conclusions it found. So it's like when you're spending an entire book telling people how important it is to have a balanced, diverse, and healthy gut microbiome, please don't gloss over the only proven effective method for drastically improving it, i.e. eating a diet that's based exclusively on plant foods. What went wrong with these people? Why can't they get away from the circle jerk? Oh my Gregor, it's so frustrating! In the other books I read, the authors were just singing the praises of nutrients found in plant foods, like fiber, inulin, oligosaccharides, polyphenols. But then you get to the recipe or suggestion section of the book, and it's full of things like dairy products and other animal foods. It's essentially the standard American diet with the addition of some prebiotics and then fermented dairy. And at least one author claims that you can just incorporate these foods in your diet and that you'll be able to stay thin no matter what. Even though time and time again, studies show that changes in the microbiome balance are only as permanent as the drastic changes in diet that caused the change in the first place. But even And these silly, ineffectual suggestions don't even reach the mainstream either. So what solutions actually are being offered for restoring healthy balance to our gut microbiome and for aiding us in our attempts to lose weight or maintain a healthy weight? Potential control with antibiotics, and then supplementing with prebiotics and probiotics, of course. And eating fermented dairy products. Sauerkraut! I've heard it just one too many times. But seriously, acknowledging that probiotics are important to health is like a step in the right direction, right? Well, as the complete lack of meaningful dietary advice, and despite studies finding how important it is to eat a plant-based diet, their conclusions do not align with their findings. So it appears that mainstream medicine has decided, as usual, not to promote lifestyle changes that are capable of inducing real, lasting change in favor of ineffectual and expensive supplements and promises of future drug therapy that will be obesity magic bullets. Heard that before. Congratulations, you are a progress retardant. So taking all of this information and putting it together, my advice is that if your microbiome is in less than stellar condition, or if you're struggling with weight gain or not experiencing weight loss when you should be, or if your digestive system feels mucked up, for God's sake, eat whole, carbohydrate-rich plant foods. Fruits, vegetables, leafy greens, whole grains, legumes, small amount of nuts and seeds if you like them. It's that simple. And the great thing is that this isn't just the diet that's best for gut microbiome health, but it's also the best diet for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer prevention, autoimmune disorders, hormonal health, weight management, avoiding environmental pollutants, saving animals from torture and murder, and preventing irreversible environmental catastrophe. That's what we call winfinity. Infinite winning in all directions. And it's the best diet because everything is interconnected. Everything in your body, everything in this world, nothing can happen without affecting something else. And we have to learn that if we're going to learn how to work with our bodies and heal them and improve our health. And we're going to have to learn that if we're going to save the planet that we live on. But back to the probiotics. If you're currently dealing with essentially any freaking health issue, it's safe to assume that there could be or is gut involvement, since our gut health affects everything. So in many cases, it's a really good idea to supplement with probiotics for a little while. I give more specific details about supplementation in this video, but I'll quickly recap here. Buy refrigerated, broad-spectrum, high-dose probiotics from your local health food store. Don't waste your time, your money, or your health on the shit that they sell at Target or the pharmacy or any other mainstream store. Culturelle is shit. If you want more details, they're in my other video. If you want to explore specific scientific studies, Dr. Greger has done an amazing job summarizing many studies on the microbiome and our health and our weight. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this has served to be further reinforcements that there are no shortcuts to health. You have to make better choices for your microbiome. Whole, high-carb, plant foods. And dear Lord, never cheese. So until next time, do the best you can until you can do better and take really, really good care of yourself. Bye.